Hello everyone, I'm Adrian Clarke and welcome to the breakdown. Today we're going to analyse Arsenal's 3-0 win away to Club Brugge in the Champions League. A match that featured two of the finest goals we've seen so far this season. Wow. Right, let's crack straight on, shall we, and get to the analysis. And I want to start going back to front, if you'll forgive me, because I want to talk about Gabriel Jesus. He hasn't played for Arsenal since, I think it was an FA Cup tie against Manchester United last January. So we're talking 11 months out. And after training with the team for a while, he's played in practice matches. He finally got a run out and he really impressed me. I thought he looked ever so sharp. He only came on, I think, in the 62nd minute. So he had about half hour or so to impress. And impress he did. Let's take a look at his chalkboard. This one is from the Opta Analyst website. You can check out their site online. Look at it. He's so mobile, isn't he? Gabriel Jesus. 3 shots on goal, 1 key pass. But he's popping up on the left. He's popping up on the right. He's coming into midfield. He's asking defenders really difficult questions. And I think that's really important. Gabriel Jesus has always been a player that doesn't stay in and around the penalty box. He doesn't stay within the width of the post of the goal. A little bit like Viktor Gyokeres. He wants to go and roam. But, of course, that can be a positive or a negative, can't it? Because when you want someone inside the box to finish off a chance, sometimes he's not there. But what he will do with his movement, with his slipperiness, and he is really slippery, he'll drag defenders out of position and create spaces for other players. And he definitely did that in this match. It was a terrific cameo performance. I want to compare it with Viktor Gyokeres, if you'll forgive me, because in that half an hour, he had 20 touches, Gabriel Jesus. Viktor Gyokeres in 62 minutes had 14 touches. So I'm not here to hammer Viktor and to criticise him. He did okay in the game. He huffed and puffed and he tried really hard. And actually, both players had 3 shots and 1 key pass. But you'll see here on his chalkboard, it's a really different scenario, isn't it? You know, in and around the box, yeah, he's there around the 6-yard box to try and make things happen, Gyokeres. But in general play, he's not offering a great deal in terms of link up and to be that platform. And I think the most important thing is that he's occupying defenders, yes, but he's not taking defenders out of their comfort zone. And I would like to see more of that from him, because at Sporting and with Coventry City, Viktor Gyokeres would pull wide and he'd really sort of run the channels and be, very positive with his running power. And I don't think we're seeing quite enough of that at the moment from him. So hopefully this excellent performance from Gabriel Jesus will give Viktor a little bit of a G up, because I think he could learn something from what he saw of the Brazilian, who almost hit the bar. Let's take a quick look at the way that that chance came about. It was a nice move, actually. One airy, little 1-2. And then you see the decoy run from Mikel Merino. It's really clever. Takes a defender away. You see the right back is going with Merino, and that opens up all the space for Gabriel Jesus, who cuts inside and cracks one onto the crossbar. Really unlucky not to score. So yeah, look, it opens our eyes and just provides us with a reminder of how good he is and what a part he can play. Now, I know that Havertz isn't fit and available at the moment, but obviously Merino is, Gyokeres is, and now Gabriel Jesus is. So who should start at the weekend against Wolverhampton Wanderers then? I'm guessing it'll be a bit much for Gabriel Jesus to start, but I'm interested in what you guys think, actually. So put your views in the comments below, please. Who would you start with? Would you start with Merino? Would you start with Gyokeres? Or might you even start with Gabriel Jesus? And if you can explain a little bit on why, that would be a little bit of a bonus for me. I love reading all your comments. So, yeah, I really appreciate it. Right, I want to show you some patterns of play now. In my last breakdown, the defeat to Villa, I was critical of the way Arsenal put the 2 fullbacks forward all the time and left ourselves vulnerable to those transitions and counter-attacks. And absolutely stand by that. I think the game was too open because of it. But there are upsides to playing that way. And actually, by the way, in this game, we did play a risky game. We did leave ourselves a bit short, and and Brugge had some good chances. But there are some upsides, and I'd like to show you some of them if I can. So let's start with this one. It happened early on in the game, and it's Norgaard getting the ball in a deep position, and you can see they're circled. Ben White is right side centre forward, and Miles Lewis-Skelly is to the right of centre in midfield. But what Lewis-Skelly has done is dragged Mikel Merino's midfield marker towards him, because he thinks, he's come short to get the ball. I've got to go tight with him. Ben White is occupying the left back, the centre backs with Gyokeres, which leaves Mikel Merino spare. And he sneaks in to a lovely little hole behind the other central midfielder who's sort of torn. He's not sure what to do. And it's just a really good example of how those fullbacks, by taking up different positions, will occupy players that then free up space for other Arsenal players. And from this, Merino gets it and we attack. And there's a good chance actually early on in the game. Noni Madueke's goal is another case in point, actually. Obviously, we all remember the dribble and the strike, and I'll show you that now. But there was also a very subtle part in that goal played by Ben White. So here it is from behind the goal. Zubimendi gives it to Madueke, but there you see Ben White, again, inside right centre forward, very, very advanced. And what he does when Madueke gets the ball is he gets on his bike and he makes a forward run. And he drags his man into a place that he doesn't want to go. And the most important thing is he opens up a beautiful hole inside that Noni Madueke skips into, of course, waltzes past a couple of players. Brilliant footwork, great explosiveness from him. And then, of course, he hits this strike into the top corner off the crossbar, just kisses the underside of the bar. That was a quite magnificent goal from Noni Madueke. But yeah, Ben White, didn't get an assist or anything like that. Zubimendi actually did. But that little run opened up the hole for Madueke to run into. And Arsenal were really good at that. And we shouldn't underappreciate that. Look, Noni Madueke took his chance, didn't he, in place of Bukayo Saka. He had a terrific game, lots of dribbling, really, really positive. And of course, he got his second goal. And I want to show you that. First up, let's give some flowers to Martin Zubimendi for the cross. He had 6 key passes, so he created 6 chances in the game, got 2 assists. The first one, not really an assist, is it, for Noni Madueke's long-range scorcher, but the second absolutely is. So let's take a look at it, because it's a classic case of the numbers game coming into play. Here we go. At the far post, you'll see there, circled, we've got a 3v2. There's the 2 little orange arrows for the 2 defenders. One wants to mark Mikel Merino, the other wants to mark Viktor Gyokeres. The other defender there is sort of marking zonally at the near post. He doesn't know where anyone else is. He's only really got eyes on the ball. So effectively, we've created a 3v2. Zubimendi doesn't know that, but he puts the ball into a great area. It's a great weight. It's quite deceptive, actually, the cross. I think they thought it was going out of play, and it held up. And Noni Madueke just strolled into that gap, didn't he? And he headed home. The easiest header he'll ever score. But it was a great cross from Zubimendi, but it was all about creating that overload. And I keep mentioning that in these breakdowns. The mathematics are really, really important in football, and also are pretty smart at identifying where they can create that mathematical advantage. And then, of course, you've just got to take advantage. It was an open game, a really entertaining game, particularly in the first half. Goodness. It was end-to-end, it was basketball, and not comfortable really for Arsenal. Club Brugge had 18 shots in the game, 7 on target. You go back a few weeks, albeit when we had our best 11 fit and available, certainly the best defence, teams weren't even getting 1 shot on target. It was remarkable, wasn't it? But 7 on target here. So very open. They had a lot of joy maybe down Lewis-Skelly's side, but that's not to blame him. That's just because he was forward and they targeted that side, on the breakaways. But yeah, we left ourselves open, and we did rely on David Raya a little bit. There was one example, one big chance that they had that did expose a slight flaw in our midfield. And I do want to highlight that, because it's something that other teams might want to copy, and hopefully we can find a way to remedy it. So here we go then. It starts here down at the right back slot. Miles Lewis-Skelly's gone and pressed. Hincapie has gone in behind at the bottom of the screen there, got tight to his man, and it opens up the middle of the pitch. And it's a 2v2. And what happens is Van Aken, the player that's with Zubimendi, comes from quite a long way away and sprints late on to receive the pass. And he catches Zubimendi on his heels. And as we know, Zubimendi's not super quick. Mobility-wise, over big spaces, he doesn't like it. Marino, you can say the same. He's not sharp, is he? He's not lightning fast. And his man, Stankovic, has run off him simultaneously. So he's vacated the space with a good forward run. Van Aken comes to receive the pass, and both Zubimendi and Marino are 2 yards off it. They flick the ball over the top. He gets in, and in the end, it's a brilliant save from David Raya, as you can see, at full stretch. So, yeah, hopefully this isn't a move that other teams will replicate, but I do worry that it might be on occasion. Now, Declan Rice, when he's fit and available to play, should make a difference in that regard. But playing Marino in midfield, runners might want to run off him, and they did do that there. Look, big reshuffle at the back, wasn't there? We've basically got no one fit at the moment. So Hincapie alongside Christian Norgaard. I'm going to say Norgaard because that's how he pronounces it instead of Norgaard. Been doing that on commentaries. It doesn't feel quite natural yet, but that is apparently how you say it and how he wants to be known. So Christian Norgaard, I'll do my best to keep it up. I thought they were both very good. They both won 3 tackles. They both made 2 interceptions. Hincapie, I thought, was outstanding in the first half. He won 6 of 7 duels, and it was nice actually to see him get a rest in the second half when Calafiori came on. So Hincapie terrific, and I thought Norgaard was really calm as well. We can actually take a look at their joint defensive chalkboard here from Opta Analyst again, and it's really good. What you'll see is a lot of 16 shirts there. That's Norgaard inside his own 18-yard box. He defended the box really well. Hincapie was more proactive. He was more aggressive, higher up the pitch. He wants to go and win the ball, doesn't he? He wants to go and steal it. He will give away the odd foul, but he's a strong defender, and I don't think forwards like playing against him at all. Right, let's talk about Gabriel Martinelli now. Another star performer in this match. He made history, didn't he? The first player in Arsenal's history to net in 5 straight matches in the UEFA Champions League. And what a goal it was. What a strike it was. Let's take a look at it. Let's have a little reminder of how it came about, because there's a little subtlety to it. Lewis Skelly feeds him down the left-hand side. And what I liked about this was Gyokeres and Marino decided to leave him alone. Now, I used to play on the wing, and sometimes you get players running into your space, whether it's a full-back, a midfielder, and you'd be like, just leave me one-on-one. They deliberately left him one-on-one there because he was on fire, because he was having a good game. And that was really, really smart. And, of course, he progresses up the pitch and sticks it into the top corner. A real top-class goal from Martinelli. And it does beg the question, doesn't it? Why don't we see more goals like that from him? Because technically, he's got that in his locker. We've seen him before score from long range. I'd love to see him shoot a little bit more often from those kind of situations, Gabriel Martinelli. I thought that he actually got off to quite a poor start in the game. The right back sort of had him in his pocket for the first 25 minutes. But then once he got into his groove, he was really difficult to stop. He was scampering past the right back for fun. And as you can see on this, in the end, by the way, he made 4 key passes, so created 4 chances, put 9 crosses into the box. I think there was 6 dribbles. So he was seriously lively, Martinelli. And I want to show you this chalkboard here from Opta Analyst. These are all the chances we created, including the assists. And what you'll notice here is how left side heavy it is. Now, often everything comes down the right, but in this game, a lot of our creativity, our better moments, did come down the left-hand side. So as well as Madueke played, and he was excellent, and he created a real threat, nothing really came from that right-hand side quadrant, did it, between the corner flag and the 18-yard box. So that's something to bear in mind moving forward. You get a lot more of that, don't you, with Bukayo Saka playing in that particular role. Right, let's round things up with some player ratings, shall we? Right, let's think. David Raya, I think he's got to be an 8. He made a lot of saves in the game, some really smart ones as well. He had to be sharp. So, yeah, David Raya is a good, solid 8. Ben White's a 7. I think he got forward terrific. Some really good overlaps in the first half. Lacked a bit of end product, but those off-the-ball runs that I've been talking about were really, really important. I'm going to give both centre-backs, Hincapie and Norgaard, both an 8. I thought they stepped in and were nice and assertive and in full control. Miles Lewis-Skelly, I'm going to give a 7. I thought it was a pretty good performance. Yeah, once or twice he got caught in an advanced position, or we lost the ball when he was not a left-back. But in general, I thought he played pretty well. Zubimendi, I think, has to go down as an 8. with all of those key passes, and he also regained possession, I think 8 times in the game, made some interceptions as well. So he had a terrific performance. Mikel Merino is a bit sluggish at times, different role for him, of course, in midfield, but he also did some quality moments. So I'll give him a 7. Odegaard is between a 6 and a 7. I'll go 6 just because he didn't massively influence the game, wasn't particularly creative, did have a great shot early on in the match, of course, that stung the hands of the keeper. But yeah, he wasn't brilliant in the game. He was neat and tidy, but a lot of his work was done in deeper areas. So he gets a 6. Madueke, I think he has to get a 9. He's my main man, Noni Madueke. He gets a 9. That goal alone is worth 8.5 points, isn't it? What a strike that was. I'm going to say Gabriel Martinelli's an 8. He was fantastic on the other side as well. I've waxed lyrical about him. And Viktor Gyokeres, I'll go 6 as well. Same as Odegaard. Worked hard, wanted to get involved, had some efforts, but ultimately it was a fruitless night for him. And he'll be frustrated that he missed out on sort of tucking into some goals. In terms of the substitutes, Jesus, he couldn't have done much better for me once he came on. So I'm going to give him an 8. I know he wasn't on for ages, but he was wonderful. One area I thought was good, some lovely little link play. Almost scored. It was a brilliant save to deny him late on. He's a 7. And the others, Saka, Calafiori and Marley Salmon, who, at 16, what an achievement to play in the Champions League. I'll give them all 6s. They weren't on a great deal. Weren't on for long and didn't make a massive impression. But overall, it was a really, really good night. A positive evening for the Gunners, and I think the team kind of needed it. And it was an awkward match that was negotiated very nicely indeed, thanks to 2 brilliant goals and a lot of talent shown by the Arsenal players. Right, we go again at the weekend, Saturday night, Wolves at home. I will be back to break that one down, of course. Hopefully, I'll be able to file that one on Sunday night. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't done so far. Really, really appreciate all the support. And don't forget to send in your comments, your thoughts on the strikers. Who should play against Wolves of the 3 that are fit and available? Right, until next time, it's bye from me.